Many of you know that before I was ever in ministry, I was a rower, and then I was a rowing coach. Long time ago, I was, and if you don't know what that is, it's a little sport with long oars, skinny boats that go backwards. It's usually big, tall, fancy people, but it was me. And eventually I coached in Florida. Rowing is usually a fancy sport, but we were the gritty high school. I mean, we were tough in a tough neighborhood. The building was made of bricks and graffiti and broken glass on the ground everywhere. So we were kind of tough. But our rivals were the shiny Catholic prep school that had the manicured lawns and fancy cars. And it was kind of like the Ward versus Cherry Hills. And I was on the Ward side. I had a lot of good kids. I was able to send some of them to row in college, and they had great opportunities there. But the Catholic school, our rivals there, they had one just great young rower. And he went on to flirt with the national team. Great kid. At the regattas, the coaches would all talk to each other, and I get to know some of the parents of other teams, and you start to talk to each other. And I got to know Shane's dad and Shane's coaches, and so I heard Shane's story. Shane went to the Catholic school, but how many of you went to Catholic school? Okay, so keep your hands up. For my mother, like her story of Catholic school is like this all the time. I don't think it's like that anymore, but at the very least, in Catholic school, I think a lot of times, teenagers, they don't want to go to daily chapel. Did they? Did you want to go to daily chapel? Did you were just tired of all the sermons and the preaching and everything? Shane, like all of his peers, 17 years old, he barely cared about school and cared even less about the religious aspect of school. He was just a kid. He wanted to hang out with girls and drive cars and do his sports. But, also like you at this young age, who knows what starts to sink in? When someone just keeps telling you every day what you're supposed to believe in, eventually something starts to get in the back of your brain. So one day, he's traveling with his rowing team to go to a race. It's two 12-passenger vans. His van in the back, the second one, blows a tire. The van in the front doesn't see it happen, but his van blows a tire, careens off into the median, falls on its side, skids to a stop, broken glass, gasoline coming out. It's a dangerous situation. Right? So most of the teenagers quickly, they jump out. The side door is on the top, and they open the door, they crawl, they jump out, and the gas is on the ground, so they're really worried about that. So they run as fast as they can to the side of the road. But Shane was cool. He was the cool kid, so he was in the back, because the cool kids always sit in the back. Right? That there? Cool kids sit in the back, and so it was hard for him. So he's crawling sideways over the seats, and he notices his assistant coach, who was driving, was slumped in the driver's seat. Now later they found out all it was a broken collarbone. He had a concussion, but he was kind of so groggy and kind of knocked out. And Shane wanted to help, as maybe you would do too. So he goes to him and he wrestles the seatbelt free. But I don't care how strong you are. Like, just try to pick up a slumped over adult male and carry them out of the van. It's not going to happen. But luckily, this is Shane's story. Luckily, someone stops to help. Pulls up. Luckily, this guy is crazy enough to get into a van with broken glass, jump in there. And so Shane says that this guy with a black coat shows up, and the two of them get the coach out and prop him up and get him over to safety. It's great, right? Everyone's in shock. The ambulance takes away the coach, and he's fine. Nicks and bruises get all taped up, they're fine. But then the police come and do their thing. They say, "What happened, young man?" And Shane describes to the policeman, I was in the van, it flips over, the coach is hurting, and then somebody shows up in a black coat. Is he still here? Because I'd really like to thank him. Which makes sense. That's a good guy. And his teammates, policeman, what happened? The teammates say, "Well, the next thing we know, we got out, and all of a sudden, Shane is carrying the coach out." And the policeman says, "Well, what happened to the guy in the black coat?" And the teammates say, "What guy? No one stopped. It's just us." So the police go back to Shane and say, "Can you tell us more about the guy with the black coat? Where was he? What? I don't know. I didn't see it. He showed up. He helped me. I can't be sure. He didn't give me his name. But then I don't see him." To Shane, it was obvious that there was someone there to help him out. But to the rest of his team, it was obvious that no one was there to help him out. What do you think of that? Now Shane, remember, he heard the stories, he heard the sermons, he was forced to read the Bible, he was told what he should believe, and at first, he starts to come to grips. Maybe, there's a slim chance, maybe what happened was an angel came to help him. Maybe. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a rational guy, and I don't believe in fairy tales. Do I? Within a few days, Shane was really so freaked out he wouldn't tell the story anymore. He told it a few times, and he couldn't come to grips with it. He didn't know, it didn't resolve, and so he stopped telling the story. He barely even talked to his dad. He wouldn't talk to his priest. He certainly wouldn't talk to a rival coach. But the last time I talked to his dad, and this is a long time ago, so we don't know where Shane is. Maybe Shane is in the church right now and still praying about that. I don't know. But the last time I talked to his dad, the family had pretty much come to the idea, the conclusion, that Shane's brain had tricked him into doing something that he wouldn't have been able to do without that vision. Makes sense? Brains can be tricky. My brain's been tricky all over the place. Brains being tricky is often an explanation that people give to angels or afterlife experiences or those mystical moments on mountaintops. And your brain often knows what you need more than you know. And so if you need some extra motivation, poof, it materializes maybe an angel, a white light, a deep calm, whatever you need. And those things are real because they impact us in our brain. They're real. But of course other people think that angels and the afterlife and those spiritual highs, that's what makes our brains act tricky. So they're real, therefore they impact us. And so other people just say, those things are really real, regardless of us, regardless of anything that we can measure or experience. It has nothing to do with brains. We just have to have faith. So which is it? What in the world are angels? And are they even in the world, or are they in our brains, or are they in our hearts, or what are they? And if you've been here for very long, you probably know my answer. Someone asked me, Hansen, what is an angel?
Hansen, what is an angel?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. The Bible talks all the time about angels. The Bible talks all the time about God trying to reach out to us, trying to send us a message, trying to give us calm, trying to give us guidance, trying to fight for us in ways that we can't quite do on our own. The Bible talks all the time about God's messengers. And that's what the word angel means in the original Greek. Evangelical means good news. Angelon, the second part of that, means the one who brings the good news. The Bible's full of stories, all kinds of stories, about God bringing news. And the news is always about love. The news is always about peace. The news is always about hope, always about grace and joy, and how it's our responsibility and our opportunity to share justice. And the messengers, the angels that we see sharing that message all over the place. Sometimes they have wings, and they're kind of like humans, which is weird. Sometimes they have like flaming swords, or they're made of flame, which is weird. Sometimes they're fat little babies playing guitar on a cloud, which is the weirdest. But that's all in there. Some people believe that. Sometimes angels are the burning bushes, or they're invisible, or part of our dreams. Sometimes they literally wrestle with you in the Bible. Sometimes, according to Jesus, anytime you turn around, God might be trying to reach you through that neighbor. Therefore, your neighbor is an angel. Or even harder, sometimes God is using you to reach your neighbor, which makes you an angel, which is even harder for some of us. All through the Bible, we hear God's messengers remind us, don't be afraid. Even if things are scary, you're not alone. God's here with you. They say, you have a purpose. You have a point in your life. Keep on going. They say, come this way. This is where you belong. This is where you're going to be fulfilled. They say, something great is about to happen. Pay attention. Keep your eyes open. And not just the Bible, but all through our lives. I'll admit, I've never seen fat babies on wings. If you get into a car accident and you tell the police officer that's what you saw, I'm not going to be standing up for you. But maybe you've seen angels of some other kind. I've never seen that, but I've had strangers show up at just the right time. I've been terrified, and something broke in. I don't know what it did. Somehow, all of a sudden, I'm calm. I have been confused and wandering and unsure, and somehow, whether it's a word someone said, or a lyric of a song, or a completely random dream, somehow, in my deepest confusion, all of a sudden, I have a clarified idea of what to do next. Many of you might be kind of nodding inside, wondering, does that count as an angel? Does that count as God's message of peace to me? If so, the Bible says the same thing. Because you've been lost and a light showed up. You've been stuck and a door opened. You've been hopeless and good news arrived. You've been angry, so angry that you didn't know what to do, and all of a sudden, how did this peace get into my heart? Where did that come from? All I could have thought of was how to fight. And instead, I surrender. Instead, I trust. Instead, I love. Were those angels? I don't know. I've never seen the wings. I've never heard the deep felt the ground quite shake like that. And even if I did, I'm going to admit I would probably chalk it up to a tricky brain trying to help me out, which might be God's way of helping me out. But if God's dream for our life and the whole world is to live fulfilled through love and peace and hope and grace, and if things keep opening up in our lives for love and hope and peace and grace, then here's the connection here. Then either it's all a big coincidence that we made it this far. It's either blind luck that the world bends toward justice, totally random that our life builds toward beauty, and just a fluke that we're growing up. Either that, or there's a direction for us to live better, to make a better world. And the universe uses every means possible to make it happen. Either it's an accident, or God keeps inching us closer to something wonderful. We can fight against it, we always do, or we can welcome whatever angelic message that lands in and leads our life. And nowhere does it say, nowhere does God say, nowhere does the Bible say that angels have to be supernatural. In fact, more so, the Bible seems committed to really natural forces that are so transcendent in our real lives. It pushes us up against the values and virtues of how to grow. These regular things, maybe that's called supranatural, that God somehow works through the regular parts of lives. But whatever it is, whatever the fancy words, let's just get a great answer. What in the world are angels? Here's my best answer. An angel is any embodiment of the universe moving toward better. An angel is any embodiment of the universe moving toward better. If you've heard it, you got the message. Therefore, it's God's message to you. That's the best, all-inclusive sense that I have of an angel. Sometimes that shows up in really small ways. Sometimes that shows up in your life and changes it forever. Sometimes that's the force that tilts the entire world from evil toward grace. But whatever they are, the messengers of true love, at the heartbeat of the world, keep reminding us